Hey guys, it's Jake here with eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at, and I'm going to show you how to install the CURT Front Mount Trailer Hitch on your 2018 Chevy Silverado 1500. Adding a front mount trailer hitch to the front of your Silverado is going to allow you to carry a various amount of items. That being bike racks, cargo carriers, or if you'd like to put a winch in there. A lot of people will use these to move trailers around if you've got a tight space on your property and you can't quite get it in with the backing the trailer in. You can always hook up a ball mount to the front of your hitch and pull it in forward. This front mount trailer hitch is going to feature a 500-pound max tongue weight capacity. That is the pressure pushing down on the inside of the receiver tube. So if you're moving trailers around or if you have a cargo carrier on the front, that's what you want to keep in mind. Don't put any more than 500 pounds of downward pressure on it. It's going to have a gross trailer weight rating of 5,000 pounds. So if you're moving trailers around, you want to stay under that amount. And then it's going to have a 9,000 pound straight line pull. That is the amount of pressure that you can use to pull with it if you have a winch or if you're using it as a pull point. If you're using it to have somebody else pull you out, then you should be more than fine because this truck does not weigh 9,000 pounds. Now the hitch will feature a 2x2 inch hitch receiver tube opening, which is going to fit most of our accessories. That is going to be the most common hitch size. It'll have a standard 5/8 inch hitch pin hole. The hitch pin and clip does not come with the kit, but we've got plenty on our website if you need one. From the ground to the top inside of the receiver tube, it's going to be about 13.5 inches. And for your ground clearance, from the ground to the bottom of the hitch, it's going to be 11 inches. This particular vehicle has a leveling kit on it, so I'd say without the leveling kit, it'd be around 9 inches because it looks like it's about 2 inches higher in the front than factory. From the center of our hitch pin hole to the outermost part of our bumper, it's going to be about 8.5 inches or so. That is a very, very long distance. So if you look into a cargo carrier or something like that, you want to make sure it's got a decent shank on the front. And there's not many accessories that are going to fold up to the front of the vehicle, but in that case, you'll just take them off and throw them in the bed of your truck. Now, as far as appearance goes, obviously we are missing the front plastic valance on here. Typically, the entire cross tube is hidden behind it, and the hitch receiver tube will go up inside the plastic a little bit. So you'll have to trim out a little bit, and it looks really good on the front of your Silverado. But that plastic valance is missing, and this particular owner is going to be using this for a snow plow, so it doesn't really bother them because there's going to be a whole plow assembly in the way. Now, as far as the installation goes, it's pretty straightforward installation. I'd say the hardest part is probably drilling the 4 holes that you will have to into your frame rails. You want to make sure that you get those lined up pretty good because otherwise the bolts will not drop down through the hitch. But with that being said, let's go ahead and pull it in the shop and show you how we did it. Now, the first step in your installation is going to be to mark out and cut out your plastic fascia under here. As you can see, ours is not here, so we're not going to have to do that. But if you do still have yours, I highly recommend just doing the next step first, which is lifting the hitch up into place and seeing if you will even need to mark that. If you don't have a super long one, I know from year to year they kind of change those aerodynamic plastic pieces under here. So I would lift the hitch up into place, see if it even makes contact. If it does, then you can go ahead and trim it. According to the instructions, they want it to be 3 inches wide from the center, 3 inches wide, and 1.5 inches into the bumper. Now with an extra set of hands, we're going to lift our hitch up into place. You want to get this forwardmost hole lined up with the access hole. Get it centered in our frame rail. And then mark out our holes. Just use a paint marker or a center punch to be able to mark those. Now we're going to use a variety of bits to step up to eventually a 17/32 hole where we just marked out for our hitch. After you get your holes drilled out, it's not a bad idea to come back with some clear coat and just coat that metal so that we don't have to worry about rust later on. Now we're going to take our fish wire, a spacer block, and one of our carriage bolts. We're going to take the fish wire, run it through the back hole first, because it's just a lot easier to run the wires. We're trying to get up to this access hole to be able to run it out. It looks like we've got a lot of stuff inside of our frame that might be blocking it. But you can put slight bends on the fish wire to try to help you get it over there. There we go. We got it popped out here. You put your spacer block on first, then your carriage bolt. Push that up through the frame and pull it out. Or hole down here. There we go, just like that. We're going to repeat that same process for the remaining 2 holes. Now for your access hole, you want to do this one last. We're going to have to reverse fish wire. So it means we'll have to stick the bolt up first, then the spacer block. Get those up in there, and then we can pull the bolt down. And on the last ones, so for the access hole, you want to leave the fish wires on. Your kit's only going to come with 2. So I'd say take it off of these 2 and leave them on the 2 front ones. Now with an extra set of hands, we're going to take our fish wire, feed it through our first hole in our hitch, and lift it up into place. Be very careful to not push those bolts back up into the frame because it will be very difficult to get out. We'll just take our flange nut, thread it on, hand tight so it can hold our hitch into place. Now we're going to take a 19mm socket and get these snugged up. Now we're going to take our torque wrench and come back and torque all of our hardware to the specifications in the instructions. Well guys, once you've got everything torqued down to the specifications in the instructions, that's going to do it for the installation. Well guys, hopefully this video helped you decide whether or not the CURT front mount trailer hitch is right for you in your 2018 Chevrolet Silverado 1500.